Hi there. Thank you for joining me for the finale of the Easter Without the Bunny vlog series. Today is Easter. It is Resurrection Sunday. It is the day that Jesus rose from the grave and conquered death. It is an amazing day. It is a day of miracles, and it is a day of redemption. And I want to talk a little bit more today about how it is and was a day of redemption. It was a day of redemption in particular for one of Jesus's disciples, Peter. Now, Peter was the disciple who Jesus said he was the rock that he was going to build his church on. He told Peter that he was going to give him the keys to the kingdom of heaven. That is a pretty big calling. But before he gave Peter that calling, Peter was just a fisherman, just an average Joe. And on the morning he met Jesus, he had just spent the entire night trying to catch fish without any luck. And Jesus came to the shore and called to him, "Cast out your net." And Simon said, "I haven't caught anything all night, but sure, I'll give it a try." And when he did, he caught so many fish that his boat began to sink. Peter fell on his face before the Lord, and he said, "Get away from me, I am a sinful man." Basically, I'm not worthy to be in your presence. I'm scared to be in your presence. But nevertheless, Jesus told him to follow him. And nevertheless, he told Peter that he was going to be the rock he was going to build the church on. Now, fast forward to the night before Jesus' death. Jesus predicted, he told all of his disciples, "You're going to leave me. You're going to deny me." And Peter said, "No, not me. I would die for you, Lord." And Jesus said, No, you're going to deny me 3 times before morning comes." And of course, he was right. After Jesus dies, the Bible tells us that Simon went back to fishing. He told the other disciples, "I'm going fishing." And he wasn't fishing for men like Jesus had called him to do. He was just going back to what was familiar, fishing for fish. And I think that Peter was feeling like he had let Jesus down big time. That he wasn't worthy of following through with his calling. And that he didn't have Jesus to follow anymore, but even if he did, that Jesus wouldn't want him. Somebody deceitful like him, someone who was not loyal enough, he wouldn't want him to have the keys to the kingdom of heaven, surely. So he just went back to feeling lost, and he went back to what he knew before he knew Jesus. So I think that it is really cool that after Jesus was resurrected, he kind of made the rounds with his disciples, and he appeared to his disciples in a few different ways. And when he appeared to Peter, Peter was in the same situation. Peter had been fishing all night and hadn't caught anything. And Jesus stood on the shore and said, "Cast your net, see what you catch." And again, his net was overflowing with fish. Jesus came back for Peter. Jesus had a message and a calling for Peter, even after Peter denied him. I want to read this piece of scripture of how Jesus restores Peter to himself. He gives him the opportunity to tell him 3 times that he loves him. I think 1 time for each time that he denied him earlier. When they had eaten breakfast, Jesus asked Simon Peter, "Simon, son of John, do you love me more than these?" "Yes, Lord," he said to him. "You know that I love you." "Feed my lambs," he told him. A second time he asked him, "Simon, son of John, do you love me?" "Yes, Lord," he said to him. "You know that I love you." "Shepherd my sheep," he told him. He asked him the third time, "Simon, son of John, do you love me?" Peter was grieved that he had asked him the third time, "Do you love me?" He said, "Lord, you know everything. You know that I love you." "Feed my sheep," Jesus said. And then just a little ways further, he says, after saying this, he told him, "Follow me." I think this is Jesus saying, "I forgive you. You messed up. I'm not done with you. I have a calling for you that is greater than just your profession." His calling was to feed his lambs, shepherd his sheep, and follow Jesus. I think sometimes we think Jesus might be done with us too. That he can't use us because we have denied him or because we weren't ever good enough in the first place. But Resurrection Sunday is all about redemption. And Peter is the perfect example. Jesus gives us a purpose. He gives us a point to life. And even when we mess up, even when we lose our way, he will continue to redeem us. And he will continue to use us. And he asks that we feed his lambs and shepherd his sheep and follow him. So my prayer for all of us on this Resurrection Sunday, but also as we move into next week and the month and the rest of our year, is that we can remember that Jesus has a purpose for us. And we don't need to have a single day of wondering if we're good enough to fulfill it. Thank you so much for watching the Easter Without the Bunny vlog series. I hope that you enjoyed it as much as I did.